Okay, so today we are going to cover the surface areas of cylinders and cones. A cylinder is really like a prism. It just has a circle base. And the same thing with a cone. It's like a pyramid, but it's got a circle base. So here we go. For the cylinders, the lateral area of a cylinder is represented by 2 times pi times radius times height. Now remember when we did the prisms, for the prisms we had the formula. Can we see that okay? Let's try to do it in black so it shows up low. So for the prisms, remember the lateral area was perimeter times height. And if you remember your circumference formula, this 2 pi r is really the circumference of the circle. And that's how we would form our lateral area. The total area of the cylinder is represented by the 2 base circles, pi r squared, and there's 2 of them, the top circle and the bottom circle, and then the lateral area, which is either perimeter times height or the 2 pi r height, which is really the circumference.
What's that line above the 2 pi r?
Oh, on top of it, I wanted to show you that was the circumference formula. So if you took out the 2 pi times radius, that's really the circumference formula. So in the cylinders, we don't have any slant heights to worry about. So probably the worst part that they might give you is they might give us a diameter, and we just have to turn it into a radius. So this formula is going to be a lot easier. And I just want to demonstrate to you how we could think of a piece of paper as being a net of a cylinder. And I'm going to show you how they figured out this, the cylinder lateral area formula. Next slide are the cones. This is pi times r times L, where L is the slant height. And then over here, the total area, I know it's hard to see. I guess I could zoom in here. The L is the slant height. So down here, see where it says slant height of cone? So that's what that L represents. So it's sort of like, a cone is like a pyramid, but the difference is the base is a circle. And here, when we did the other ones, it's like 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height. So this pi r is 1/2 the perimeter. And then the total area of the cone this is the circle base, and then this is the lateral area once you unfold it. So I'll go ahead and draw you a picture of a cone and label the pieces. So if I draw a cone here, the lateral height is this piece right here. And then the radius would be right here. And then if you were to draw in the height, notice it forms a right triangle. We only would use the height if we were asked to find the volume. For this surface area, we do not need the height, we need the slant height. Okay, so now an example of this. So here we have our cylinder. Again, the capital B represents the area of the base. The LA is the lateral area. And then the TA is the total area or the surface area. And then the last one's volume. Now, we already covered volume back from the textbook. And I'll go ahead and calculate it since we did cover it, just to review it, because it is on your test. So this is a figure, this figure is a cylinder. We are going to leave all of our answers in terms of pi when we do this. On the test, some of the answers will be left in terms of pi. Some of them, I'm going to just let you use 3.14 for pi, because I know some of you may not have a scientific calculator. It may just be a basic calculator. But know for next year, you should really invest in either a decent scientific calculator or a graphing calculator for Algebra 2. I highly recommend the graphing calculator. It will really benefit you when you go to take the SAT. So then when you're doing anything in terms and you're using a pi, they're going to expect you to use the pi button if they are letting you use a calculator. If they do not let you use a calculator next year, you would just leave the pi symbol. All right, so for the first one, we're going to calculate the area of the base. Remember, our base shape here is a circle. So we are going to do the formula for area of a circle, and our base area is pi r squared. So I see my radius is 5, so I'm going to do pi times 5 squared. Left in terms of pi, it's going to be 25 pi. And remember, the units for area are centimeters or are squared, so centimeters squared on this problem. Then for the lateral area, this is where I'm going to use my 2 times pi times radius times height. God bless you. So here I'm going to multiply 2 times pi times radius, which is 5, times the height, which is 7. So it doesn't matter really the order you multiply. 2 times 5 is 10, times 7 is 70. So this will give me 70 pi centimeters squared. Now for the total area, I am going to take the answers that I got from part A and for part B and put them into my total area formula. So remember, the total area or the surface area of a cylinder is going to be 2 pi r squared, or 2 times the base area, plus the 2 pi r height. So I'm going to take what I got here in part A and multiply it by 2. So 2 times 25 pi plus the 70 pi. 2 times 25 pi is 50 pi plus 70 pi. And I could treat that pi as almost like a variable. So 50 plus 70 is 120 pi centimeters squared. Yes, Bella?
What are you using for the slant height?
I don't need a slant height in a cylinder. I'm only using the height, which is 7. It's by the right angle. Only the cones have the slant height. Okay, I am going to go ahead and calculate the volume. If you remember from your quiz, the formula for volume of a cylinder is going to be pi times radius squared height. Because remember, volume of a prism or a cylinder is just capital B times H. And my B here is a circle. So I'm going to do pi times 5 squared times 7. Pi times 25 times 7. And I know that 7 quarters is $1.75. So 175 pi centimeters to the 3rd power. Remember, volume is cubed. Here we go with the code. All right, so it says use the figure to find each one of these. So for the base area, again, it is a circle. So we have our circle here. Notice this time they gave us a diameter. I need to turn that diameter into a radius. So I'm going to divide that diameter by 2, and I'm going to find out that my radius is 17. So now I have my radius here, and let's make it red. I have a radius of 17. Now, notice there's a typo on this. What number do you have on your slant height? Do you have 19?
Yeah.
Okay. This was a typo on mine because notice this is forming a right triangle here. You see this? Can my hypotenuse ever be greater than my leg? No, right? So this was a mistake. So that's why yours got changed and yours has 19. So I'm going to use 19 for my slant height. Okay, so now I'm going to go back. I'm going to find the area of my circle base, which is pi r squared. So I'm going to do pi times 17 squared. 17 squared is 289. So 289 pi, this time it's meters squared. Now for the lateral area, that's where I'm going to use the pi times the radius times the slant height. So for my lateral area, pi times 17 times 19. And then 17 times 19 is 323 pi meters squared. Now for the total area, this is where I'm going to take the area of my base. So total area down here, pi r squared plus the lateral area, pi rl. So my base area was 289 pi plus the 323 pi for my lateral area. I'm going to add those two numbers, and my total area will be 612 pi meters squared. Now, for my volume, I don't have everything I need. I need to find the height of that cone. Notice though, I created a blue right triangle over here in my cone. I can now do Pythagorean theorem to find the height. So to find the height, I am going to do 17 squared, do it in another color, 17 squared, I could say my h here, or whatever letter you want to put there, equals 19 squared. 17 squared is 289. 19 squared is 361. Subtract the 289. H squared equals 19, let's see, 361 minus 289, 72. I need to break that down. I could break it down into 36 times 2. So my height is now 6 root 2. So now for volume, remember volume of a cone is 1/3 BH. Again, my B is a circle. So 1/3, and I already calculated it was 289 pi times the height, which was 6 square root 2. So then here I could simplify the 1/3 and the 6, make this 2. And then 289 times 2, and I get 578. Yes, but I'm going to multiply the 289 times 2. So I get 578 root 2 pi. Does that make sense? And it's meters to the third power. Because I simplified the 1/3 and the 6 and I made it 2 root 2. But then I can multiply outside things with outside. So 289 times 2, and I got 578. And that is your lesson for today. Again, the first page is lateral areas. The second page is total areas or surface area. You will have to do both on the test next week. So next week when you're taking the test, be careful because some of the questions are only asking for lateral area and others will ask you for the total surface area. So your homework again is that worksheet. I believe there's 20 questions on it. You can go ahead and get started now. And if you have any questions or want to check anything, let me know.